Alright, so today is October 26th, 2017. This is a second video that I'm making. The first one, I didn't know that there was going to be a gigantic watermark here, so I decided to make a new one, but I just wanted to talk about a trading opportunity that I actually missed, however, proved to be a very good example of something that you guys should be aware of. Now, as some of you may know, I trade around the basis of institutional order flow or supply and demand trading. But the first thing that many people fail to really do is to understand how supply and demand actually works. Now, this is a daily time frame on the euro dollar, and before you even begin to draw supply and demand zones, what you really have to do is identify the current trend. Now, before we had this major drop a couple of hours ago, the major trend for me was from here down like this. And the reason for that was because this low that was produced was lower than this low, and this high was lower than this high. Until this moment here, this was not tested, and therefore this was the low that we were drawing it from, and right, this is where it originated from. So it's very important that you understand how to properly draw trends, and for that reason I put these fractals on just to show you, right? Well, we could take those away, and this is what I mean when I say trend, right? Many people fail to understand how to properly draw a trend, and there's a very important factor that you need to understand, which is higher lows and higher highs. You need both of these to consider something to be a uptrend, and that's why we have this purple pink line here. This is the horizontal line that this leg must beat in order to be considered a trend, and once this level is beat by even just one tick, we can draw this trend line from here to here, and therefore we have a trend. This is not an uptrend because we had failed to break this high. Until this high is broken, you are not allowed to draw the trend. It is not an uptrend. It is simply a test. Okay, so let's remove this. Let's remove these for a second and go back to this example. So we had a daily time frame, and the whole outlook from here already was bearish. However, when we went down to the 4-hour level, let's delete the daily for now. If you were to be observing this on a 4-hour level, you would have identified this low to be lower than this low and this high lower than this high, and therefore you are allowed to draw the trend line like this. This is a registered downtrend. Now, the price made a run several hours prior to this big drop, but what I was looking at was a supplier demand zone that was drawn in like this. And what do you know? The price reacts directly with this line and takes a sharp drop down. This is not magic. We could have all seen this coming a long time ago. Now, here's another thing that many people don't talk about when it comes to supply and demand trading. Well, how do you know that a level is going to work out in the first place? Well, another helpful tip that you could observe is a divergence. I am a big fan of divergences, and it's very important to spot them when supply and demand levels are present. Now, I'm going to delete this supply and demand zone for now so that you can see the divergence as well as the trend line. The RSI is making a higher high way before the price has a chance to make a higher high compared to where we had the previous peak. Already, I'm seeing weakness in the level. Furthermore, when we go down to a lower level, coming up to this moment, what you will see is that the RSI is already making its way back into equilibrium from overbought levels, while the price is still trying to push higher, right? I'll just use this for reference, right? So already you're having more than enough reasons to say, maybe this level is bound to come down eventually. However, the 4-hour level was the tell-all to this short. Right here, all you really had to do was wait for the entry. The reason why I couldn't get into this was because I was expecting the pullback to come in around this level right here, to which I would have entered short. Never had the opportunity. But that's the type of opportunities that you can get if you just have a clear mindset. Now, this is not rocket science, it's simply supply and demand trading. There are many videos online that you can watch to learn how to trade supply and demand. I recommend Alfonso Moreno. I'll put him in the description. That's where I learned how to trade supply and demand trading. And as you see, there's no sketchy indicators or anything lagging for that matter, except the RSI. So it really helps to be on top of your game and to really see things from a top-down perspective. I don't trade on the 5 or 15 minute. I only trade on the hourly for my entries, the 4 hour for the reference, and the daily for the trend. And these are the types of opportunities that you can get. Of course, not every move is going to be this massive in one straight line. However, in reducing your risk, my stop loss would have been right here, my targets would have been probably down here. Already you have a 2-to-1, 3-to-1 ratio, and you're ahead of the game. So if you have any questions, just feel free to shoot me an email. I'll put my email down in the description. And yeah, happy trading, guys.